Welcome to the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. This series helps you prepare for the CompTIA Security Plus exam with focused explanations and practical context. For a companion study guide, check out the Achieve CompTIA Security Plus 701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. It is the most concise and complete Security Plus guide on the market, built for busy professionals who want to pass the exam fast and on their first try. You can find this book and others at cyberauthor.me. In this episode, we will focus on two essential and often underestimated components of a secure environment: documentation and version control. These practices do not generate headlines or block attackers directly, but they play a critical role in keeping systems safe, stable, and auditable. Without reliable documentation and clear version histories, teams are more likely to repeat mistakes, overlook vulnerabilities, and struggle during emergencies. Let's begin with documentation. In cybersecurity, documentation is more than just a formality. It is a foundation. It records how systems are built, who is responsible for them, how they should be maintained, and what to do when things go wrong. When kept current, documentation ensures that everyone is working from the same understanding, and that no knowledge is lost when staff members change roles or leave the organization. Maintaining security integrity depends heavily on accurate, accessible documentation. This includes network diagrams, which show how systems are connected and where critical assets reside. It also includes security policies that define what users can and cannot do, and procedures that guide how tasks like patching or incident response are performed. When this documentation is missing or outdated, gaps in understanding lead to security gaps in practice. Some of the essential elements that should be kept up to date include infrastructure diagrams, firewall rule sets, access control policies, backup procedures, incident response plans, and inventory lists. Each of these documents supports a different aspect of system management and helps ensure that changes, updates, and troubleshooting can be done quickly and safely. Real-world cases highlight how critical documentation becomes during a security incident. In one organization, a ransomware attack took systems offline. Because their network diagram was up to date, the team quickly identified affected systems, isolated them, and protected the rest of the environment. In another case, a company failed to document changes to their firewall rules. During a breach investigation, they wasted valuable hours trying to understand which ports were open and which systems were exposed. The difference between recovery and chaos often comes down to what is written down and where it is stored. Now let's turn to version control. In cybersecurity, version control is the practice of tracking changes to files, code, configurations, and documents. It ensures that any change can be traced back to its source, and that previous versions can be restored if something goes wrong. This practice is crucial not only for development teams, but also for system administrators and security professionals. Version control helps maintain security by enabling quick rollbacks after bad updates, preserving the history of configuration changes, and making it easy to identify when and how a vulnerability was introduced. It also supports compliance, because many security frameworks require proof that policies and system configurations are being reviewed and updated regularly. Version history provides that proof. There are many strategies and tools for effective version control. The most basic level, this could involve manually saving dated copies of files and keeping changelogs. However, modern organizations typically use tools like Git, Subversion, or SharePoint with version tracking features. These tools make it easier to collaborate, compare versions, and recover from mistakes. Version control should be applied not just to source code, but also to infrastructure as code files, firewall configurations, documentation, and even policy documents. Any file that can affect the organization's security posture should have a known and trackable history. This allows security teams to audit changes, trace errors, and ensure accountability across departments. Avoiding common pitfalls is just as important. One major issue is failing to enforce consistent use of version control tools. If only part of the team uses the system, gaps in the version history emerge, which defeats the purpose. Another issue is overwriting files without logging changes, which creates confusion during audits or incident reviews. Teams should also avoid using shared folders with manual file naming conventions as their only form of version control. This approach is error-prone and hard to scale. Version conflicts can also cause problems. When multiple people edit the same file without coordination, they may unintentionally overwrite each other's work or introduce inconsistencies. To avoid this, teams should establish clear workflows, such as pull requests or review gates, to ensure that changes are intentional and peer-reviewed. For the Security Plus exam, be prepared to answer questions about why documentation and version control are important. You may be asked to identify what types of information should be documented, how version control supports security and compliance, or what could go wrong without these practices. Pay attention to examples involving incident response, system recovery, or change tracking. These are all areas where documentation and version history play a major role in maintaining a secure and resilient environment. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.